Welcome to Porcelain Peak, a strange and scary podcast dissecting all things horror and sci-fi. Here are your hosts, or what's left of them, Tone, John, and Anthony. Enjoy the trivia while you can.
Welcome back to Season 4 of Porcelain Peak. As always, a production of wordsforweirdos.com. This week for Chop Talk, we got a couple of trailers we're going to talk about and maybe some interesting Netflix stuff. Then we're going to dump into trivia. We're still playing Pass the Popcorn. I got a 2-peat. See if I can get a 3-peat.
Say we're going to dump into trivia?
I think I did.
All right.
So anyway, then for our main discussion, we are talking about the new Robert Eggers movie, The Northman, and for our final cut, we're diving into episodes 4 and 5 of Moon Knight. So stay tuned.
Why don't you take an axe and chop it open?
All right, John, Anthony, how are you guys?
I like that you correctly looked at the right person as the introductions came through.
Yeah, he always tries to throw us off in the beginning, but we're too fucking smart. I know who I am.
John?
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway.
I'm doing well. I've been
good.
on a small staycation. It's been very, very necessary.
Staycation's where I want to be.
Yeah. Staycation, all I ever wanted. But yeah, I've just been relaxing. Mostly,
I got water on my pants. It looks like I peed. There's water.
So for anyone tuning in past this moment, he just pissed himself.
little driblets.
Sorry to interrupt your staycation.
But yeah, it's just been slogging away at Elden Ring. I've been having a fantastic time with it. It is frustratingly difficult at times.
Is that From Software or whatever?
Yes.
It made sense when I realized that it was from the same studio that did
Dark Souls
and stuff.
Bloodborne.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bloodborne is something that we should play on the Twitch channel at some point.
I've just heard it's so fucking difficult, and you're the only one that would be playing it, and I don't know if I want to see you suffer, because I've seen how stressed you get during Resident Evil, and I'm like, I don't know if we need to play a more difficult game than Resident Evil.
Yeah, there have definitely been times where I've had to just be like, nope, I'm putting it down, I'm walking away for 5 minutes and then coming back.
Yeah.
But when you do finally beat the boss or whatever, it feels so nice.
Yeah, and is it Bloodborne or Dark Souls that's like super Lovecraft?
So Bloodborne is more Lovecraftian.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's always what interested me, but I don't have the patience. I'm also doing well. This is I'm on an uptick, so things are looking good. But I have been having really weird dreams recently, and they all involve a group of people who are trying to get me to dissolve my father's company once he passes away. And I'm starting to think that maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I should do that.
And what is your father's company? If you're going to take us on a journey, then let's go on it, man.
Yeah.
It's called Inception Incorporated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty rad.
It's called Bwah.
The part where the hallway starts to rotate is still pretty cool.
Yeah, we're still working out the kinks on that hallway. Nobody can get to their office. It's a mess.
Anyway, well, we had a couple of trailers, that we want to talk about.
So
Yeah.
I had a list of things here. So
You're bringing the list? Well, I brought a list too. Let's see whose list is better.
So I don't know if you've heard this, but they just announced that The Batman is getting a sequel directed.
Two.
Yeah, it's getting directed.
Not two sequels. The Batman 2 is happening.
Directed by Reeves and starring Pattinson, which is fantastic. We loved both of those aspects of the film.
I'm really surprised that it took this long for them to officially announce it.
Yeah, because usually with that kind of stuff, they've announced it before it's even come out. I think everybody just figured, but now that we've seen how well that movie obviously did theatrically, doesn't surprise me at all. And it's apparently, as far as I can tell, doing really well on HBO Max. I have not been able to watch it because my HBO Max is completely fucking unusable on my Apple TV.
Sick. It's been awful this week. You've had the same problem?
So it's been like that for me for about a week and a half. Since they updated to the new aesthetic, I was like, sweet, they'll have fixed their crashing issue. And now, instead of it crashing once a week, twice a week. It crashes about every 5 minutes for me, so I literally can't watch anything on HBO Max. So that's been great. But anyway, if HBO Max is watching this, if Mr. HBO,
Fix it.
Mr.
fix
Max.
my shit.
Fix it, Felix.
Yeah, but anyway, I did hear about this.
Cool.
Yeah.
All
Is
right.
it CinemaCon that's happening, or what's the thing that everybody's announcing?
I
stuff
think
at?
so, yeah.
All the trailers, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of trailers, the trailer for Bodies, 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 the new A24 film,
you guys
also
watch it?
dropped. I have not watched it yet.
I did, yeah.
What'd you think? I haven't seen it.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
It looks like people. I mean, I hope that it's gonna be what they're marketing it as,
Oh, okay.
because it looks like
Well, if it's A24, probably not.
and that's my hesitation. But it looks like a classic sleepover horror movie, and
okay.
and it's got Pete Davidson in it, and
No people with animal heads or
no
weird
people
stuff like
saying
that.
that. Who else is in it? There's another. Who's the?
Oh,
There's like an older guy that I was like, why are you at a sleepover?
I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember the
Yeah.
name.
Anyway, that looks good. And then what about the that new?
The new?
Yeah.
Are we talking about what we received on Twitter today?
Yeah.
So,
Can we not?
so we can mention it. We can't talk about what's in it because
Yeah.
it's technically not available to the public yet. But we've gotten early access to the film festival trailer for Feed Me, the new Oaks and Leader film that we are very excited about, and we will likely have them on the show in the relatively soon future.
yeah, if you're not aware of who those people are, they directed the movie Hosts, which we reviewed and got a screener for and did an interview with them. You did that interview solo, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you obviously left a really good impression because they reached out to us again on Twitter and want us to, at least in some way, cover this project. So that is something that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. The trailer looks like it's going to be bonkers. And I after I watched the trailer, I was like just out of curiosity, because I know you used gallons and gallons. Like, it was like a 50-gallon drum of fake blood during the filming of Hosts. I was like, how many gallons of blood this time? And I was like, well, maybe I should wait until we talk in person. And he was like, we'll just say it was lots. Smiley face.
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
That's
yes.
awesome.
I got the emails, but only half the conversation that you were having, and so I was trying to piece together what the fuck was happening. Anyway, is that the end of your list?
There was one last thing that I wanted to talk about as well, which was, if you haven't checked it out, it's AAA24. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
I saw the email that we got. Yeah.
So, AAA24, if you go to AAA24.com, is a membership service through A24, where you'll get every 2 months you'll get their classic zines that they've been doing for forever. On top of it, you get early access to their merch, you get a discount code, you get all these other things, and it's like $5 a month, which I signed
or
up.
$55 for the year.
Yeah, so I signed up for it for the monthly tier. So once that first zine comes in, we'll talk about it, and we'll talk about some of the other features that are cool with it as well.
Is there anything involving the screening room stuff?
Not at this point, but they did say that there might be stuff similar to that coming in the future, which would be super cool.
Cool. Yeah.
I thought it was a partnership with AAA, and I was like, oh shit, they can make auto discounts or what?
I think that's kind of what they were going at,
Yeah.
based on the whole membership thing.
Right.
Yeah, they send like Ari Aster out to fix your
Yeah, 'cause it's-
tire or whatever.
Because it's actually A24 and then 2 A words. I forget what they are. So it's not actually AAA 24. It's A24AA,
Oh.
which I guess sounds like Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Confusing. So I have a few little pieces spinning off of what we were talking about with CinemaCon and footage that's been shown. The first Halloween Ends trailer footage has been shown. I guess this trailer is mostly clips from the other Halloween movies that tie this into being like, this is the end for reals this time, guys. And everybody is saying that it looks crazy and scary and whatever, and I don't really give a shit, but I thought I would mention it. The other thing that I am a little bit more interested in is that there is more new news about Dune, the spin-off series, which we had, I think, questioned whether that was still happening or whether that was a thing. It is originally announced back in 2019. The Dune, the Sisterhood show will be directed by Johan Renck, who directed Chernobyl for 2 episodes. I guess Villeneuve was supposed to direct at least the first couple episodes, but he is busy doing the Dune sequel, so he's not going to be involved with it at this stage.
Are they calling it Tune?
Tune? Yeah.
Tune.
The show is supposed to be set 10,000 years prior to the events of the Dune film. And Diane Ademu John from one of the showrunners from Haunting of Hill House, will be the writer, showrunner, and executive producer of the spinoff series. So,
Pedigree.
Yeah, pedigree. So I'm interested in that. James Wan has a new project coming out that he created the story for and is producing, but is not directing, called Megan. And I'm going to call it Megan because that's how he would pronounce it in his Australian accent, but it's Megan with a 3. And it has a very creepy poster of a little robot doll girl. This is from Blumhouse and James Wan. It is starring Allison Williams, comes out January of next year. And Akilah Cooper, who also co-wrote the story for *Malignant* and *The Nun 2*, and Luke Cage wrote the script for this. So, if you're interested in James Wan stuff, so *The Nun 2* has also been announced as being a thing that's happening.
Oh.
No, fun.
I didn't include it in news because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, definitely don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna refer to that movie as Threegan.
Yeah, and then, and then the last bit of things that have come out of CinemaCon or things that people have been talking about is Salem's Lot showed some footage. The Salem's Lot movie that is coming out in the fall of this year.
Wow.
And some of the early reactions were Salem's Lot does indeed look like a smart theatrical play and closes with a killer trailer moment similar to that from the first Conjuring trailer that helped make that movie a hit. So, like the clapping scene, it said just swap out Lily Taylor with Bill Camp, who's in the movie. People say it looks creepy, eerie, and it is in theaters this September.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So we had one last thing that we wanted to talk about.
Because we want to talk about Netflix a little bit, right?
Yeah.
We do want to talk about Netflix, yes. So I guess their stock has dropped, 60-something%?
They're stonks.
Their stonks just this year?
Yeah, just this year alone, it's been 64%, just in an absolute nosedive. They lost subscribers for the first time since they released their subscription model.
Wow.
Way back when. So
I think a lot of it, I think a big part of it is no more physical media.
yeah,
So they have that entire side of the business that probably isn't doing anything anymore. If it even still exists, I don't even know if you can still
it
do
does
that.
still technically happen.
Yeah.
Most people don't use it.
Right. And then on top of that, Netflix used to be the only place you can go, really. Like, there was few and far between, and they all kind of sucked.
It almost got to a level of Netflix being like the colloquial term for like just streaming in general. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go on
Netflix
Netflix and watch this, or I'll Netflix it. Yeah,
And then they pulled everything to go into their own individual programs now.
Netflix basically got cannibalized in the last year by a bunch of other services that came out, like Peacock and Paramount Plus and all this other. HBO has good stuff coming out.
Well, I think that's what I think it's Disney.
Disney for sure. And Disney has a
HBO.
deeper library almost than Netflix does, because not only do they have a ton of shit, but it's, I think, overall better quality stuff because they have all of the Marvel stuff, the Star Wars stuff, the Disney stuff. So
Pixar.
National Geographic, like...
I typically now will just go, because it used to be all Netflix. That's all I would do. But now it's either HBO Max or Disney Plus.
Netflix
really.
is the last resort for me now, especially since they don't fucking integrate their search into the Apple TV search, which again is just a Apple TV problem that I'm having. But
I think that's a Netflix thing, though.
Yeah, Netflix specifically says that they don't want to ruin their
because they want you to be there in their app.
Yeah, they want everything to take place within their system, which is an awful, like, if you're going to make sure that your service is on every platform, make sure that it's integrated into all of those platforms and make it easier for the user to find your shit. Because if it's on multiple places, I'm going to end up watching it in those other places.
They won't even let you AirPlay from your phone Netflix on the Apple TV.
Yeah.
If you try to do it, it'll say download the Netflix app.
That's so dumb.
And it's like, well, what if that person doesn't have Netflix and I can't get in? And it's weird for them to do that. And if it doesn't show up in the Apple TV search, at least for me, then I'll watch it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it'll be on Netflix and I won't know. Like, we watched The Ring recently.
I
didn't realize it was on Netflix.
I've rented so many like $3.99 movies and then realized they were on Netflix afterward. And I was like, well, I mean, Netflix, that's your fault. You lost out on my thing. But
so that's our problem, but still it's frustrating.
But on top of all of that, you also have them raising prices all the time. They're constantly raising their prices to the point now where you could get a bundle of like Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN for less than a Netflix.
You have, right?
Yeah, less than a Netflix subscription. That's what I have too. And on top of that, now they're cracking down on password sharing, which means that you're paying $20 if you have like the good plan on Netflix or whatever.
Is it
for
really?
just you? Like
I password share.
with the idea that you're not supposed to password share, and they're cracking down on it. So what that's doing, I think the thing with them not wanting to integrate with searches and apps like that is just all a testament to kind of how up their own ass Netflix has gotten, because they were so used to being top dog with streaming services and being like the pinnacle, that they haven't realized that things have changed in the past couple of years, and they haven't adapted for the fact that they now have way more competition. People can go other places, and it's getting too pricey. And I was comparing it to MoviePass, where I'm like, yeah, MoviePass was awesome when there weren't a bunch of restrictions and the price was affordable, but as soon as you started implementing restrictions and raising the price, people weren't interested anymore.
Yeah, and now they're talking about having like an ad version. So like a less expensive version where you still get the 4K, but you don't get an ad-free experience, which is kind of what you go for. I mean, at this point, for a free service that you would get through like YouTube, I pay because I don't want the ads. I want to be able to click the next thing and, fall into my fucking rabbit holes.
Yeah, so and people have been doing that for 10 years now with Netflix. Have been just going, oh, I'm going to go to Netflix because there are no ads and I can just binge through, a whole thing. And that, and I know you were going to say something I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, well, so do you guys think that they need ads to survive? I think on top of that, I think yes. I think that's something that they're going to have to resort to. Yeah. But I also think that they're going to have to do a lot more product placement, because if you watch a lot of their shows, they don't do. I mean, I know we talked about Adidas, but I guess that's really the only time that I can think of something that was blatant product placement, because a lot of times you don't see shit.
But then you watch something like Servant on Apple TV Plus, and they have like 5 HomePods in their house, and everybody's
and they're always FaceTiming.
They're always FaceTiming when it's like, you can have this conversation through text.
Just use iMessage. Who cares?
But that shows a whole different can of worms I could get into. But I think that, they're going to have to implement ads, but also this kind of will segue nicely into a conversation we were having about the binge watching seasons of television and how television is. But I think that people are starting to realize that they want to go back to the weekly release style of TV, and that shows are doing better that way when they have weekly releases. Like something like Euphoria builds up from episode to episode and season to season, more and more discussion around it. Mm-hmm. And Netflix's thing has always been, boom, we'll drop a show, it'll be hype for a week, 2 weeks, and then if it doesn't get the numbers that we want, we're going to cancel it right after that.
Yeah, like who's talking about fucking Squid Game anymore?
Yeah.
And that was a cultural phenomenon like 6 months ago.
The only people talking about it
gone.
Are the mall kiosks.
Yeah.
That have the little dolls and
the
shit.
little heads and stuff,
I think that's a good point. And Netflix has done some shows where they'll release them weekly, but nobody knows.
League of Legends Arcane was a big one, and I
heard people talking about that for a couple months.
Yeah. Because it was all that was on Twitch. Yeah. It was all that was on YouTube. People talking about Arcane, doing Arcane reviews, going to events. Like, they made it a big fucking spectacle, but that was also partially because Riot was behind it and was trying to fucking, make that happen. They wanted a cultural phenomenon that would have some staying power, and they achieved that.
I do think that part of it too, and to piggyback on what you guys are saying, is especially with the canceling, is Netflix, they're not trying to get people to watch new shows or old shows. They're trying to get people to sign up.
Yeah.
And so they'll release new shows, and then if they bring enough people, they'll give them another season. But then they won't stay with them. So shows get canceled after 2 seasons, or if they have a shitty season, or...
Well, and also...
except for like Stranger Things, which might bring people in, but who knows?
Yeah, and I've also heard from people on podcasts who know people who work on Netflix shows. They now have to not only appeal to a U.S. market with their shows, but no matter what your show is, it needs to also be pulling numbers in other countries, because Netflix now sees itself as an international service.
That's why more Korean products are doing so well.
So if you're not pulling numbers in other countries as well, it doesn't matter how well you're doing in the United States. If you're not a global phenomenon, then they don't want to keep the show around.
But I don't think it's just viewers now, which is what other...
Well, it's hard to tell because Netflix also doesn't share any of their fucking information. So
they want people signing up, because typically people will forget to quit it.
Yeah, they want recurring subscribers, especially in an age where there are literally apps and services that are advertisements everywhere all over the fucking internet that literally are just, oh, hey, if you forget your subscriptions, we have this one-time use code. So that way, if you want to continue to sign up for the service, you can. But if you see that it's going through and you forgot about it, we'll give you a notification that you can just go click and turn that off, and you don't pay for that subscription anymore.
Yeah.
It's a shitty situation to be in. And it's, like I said, it constantly means that you're trying to be behind the 8 ball, trying to find the new thing that's going to blow up, and they're running out of ideas. They're going to
Well, and they're
different
not building
people.
any sort of
Yeah.
customer loyalty because, like, for someone like me who goes to Netflix and watches a show like Archive 81 and really enjoy it, and I'm excited about a second season, and then find out a couple weeks after it's ended that they've canceled it and they're not doing another season, but then I'm over on HBO Max where I'm like, cool, Euphoria just ended its season, and I know I'm going to be able to come back in a year or whatever and get another season of Euphoria or another season of, whatever it is, the splendiferous gemstones or
And it's weird too because Netflix used to be the place where shows went after they died.
yeah.
And Netflix would revive them, like with Arrested Development.
Yeah, Arrested Development.
Or I think Lucifer, of all things. Like,
Yeah.
I was asking for that. Or
Brittany.
the Killing.
Yeah.
It's like they brought that show back from the brink, I think, twice.
And now they're just riding the coattails of shows that were already successful because they weren't on Netflix, like Better Call Saul. They're like, oh, well, we have Better Call Saul. We have the new season or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that show would have been canceled in season 2 if it had started on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's because it was on AMC and then moved over, or now is on Netflix, that you guys even have that show and it's successful. It's like, psh, yeah, right. Like that would have made it as far.
Well,
But-
I mean, and as much as their original content has had some hitters throughout the years, they've had, I would say, categorically more stinkers, throughout that entire process. And people stuck around because that was the place you could go to watch Parks and Rec, The Office, Friends. All of that shit was accessible there. And now it's been, like, as we said, yanked out and put onto these other services. Even if those are newer services or with worse UI or whatever, they're still in a place where someone can go and watch them a lot of times, not even have to necessarily pay. If you have, Peacock, you can do like the ad model and not pay anything for their service.
Yeah.
Certain stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it has I'm sure there's probably a paywall for something like The Office or something like that. But there are different places you can get those things. But you can't get them on Netflix, even though you're still paying $22, $23 a month for that sort of shit.
Netflix is becoming Netflix, if that makes sense. Like, they are going to, all
They're
their
reverting.
stuff is
Yeah.
going to be just shows that they are making. And it's not going to be a catalog anymore like it used to
Yeah.
be. And you get that with Hulu. Like, Hulu isn't just Hulu originals. It has FX. It has the shit Disney doesn't want to put on Plus.
yeah.
And it has other things. And then same with Disney. It's not just Disney Plus originals. It's a massive fucking catalog now.
Well, Netflix's motto is it's not we want to have the content that people want to watch. It's we want to make what we think the audience wants to see. So they want to be like, we're the ones making all of the stuff that people want to see. And it's like, yeah, but people are still always going to want to go back to the stuff you were talking about, their comfort TV shows and things that are reliable and that they always laugh to. And it's like,
Yeah. Shit that you watch every year.
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, really, the only stuff that's on Netflix like that is like, maybe is New Girl still on Netflix, or did that move over to Hulu? Who
I don't
fucking
know.
knows? I don't know. Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, maybe that one.
But to segue kind of into
Yeah.
our conversation that we were having through text the other day that kind of turned into what I'm trying to make into a small movement, which
Yeah.
is our hashtag break the binge. So we were talking about how we miss the way that TV shows used to be, where there was this kind of water cooler in the office chat every week, or like in the break room at work, you'd be talking about whatever the new episode was. And I think the last show that really was big on that was Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the last one
Because
that
that
really
was-
had that kind of pull.
That was kind of the last dying breath before streaming took over all of TV, basically. And so we were thinking, well, you're the one who said, fuck it, I'm going to watch the new episode or the new season of Stranger Things week to week, like one episode a week, so that I can savor the flavor. And we all kind of were like, yeah, why don't we try to do that as like a thing for the show, and let's try to make it into a something that other people might want to join us in on. So I dumped the idea onto the boys chat with a podcast on Elm Street, and Chuck and Ruff Go to the Movies and all of them, and they were all on board. So I actually made a Facebook event, got a few of them to join it with the
Sick.
details, and have been posting stuff on our story to get people hyped on it, because May 27th is when the first half of that season premieres.
Oh.
So it's coming up. So very beginning of summer. And something that I realized was, if we do it this way, if we have the self-control to do it this way,
They'll connect.
they'll connect between pretty closely, if not exactly, between parts 1 and parts 2, because part 2 is in July. So if
Why the fuck are they doing it a month apart?
Netflix has been doing that for like all of their stuff, and I don't know if it's a COVID related thing, like maybe they had to split up production because of COVID, or I don't know exactly what it is, but they're
It almost
splitting
seemed
it
like
up.
they should have just
Because Ozark
released
did
their-
the same thing, right?
Ozark did it, I think I mentioned on the show, so that they can get into the Globes
Oh,
in 2 years.
gotcha.
So
okay.
they released the first part enough to get into last year's, and they're releasing the second part to get into this year's.
Does Stranger Things try to get into the Globes for anything?
I don't think so.
I doubt it.
And not with that time frame.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that comes out.
Well, yeah. So if you are,
BB with PP.
yeah, break the binge hashtag. We're trying to get that to be a thing. So join us if you're interested. If you're watching this and you think you have the self-control to do that,
It's going to be difficult.
I told my sister about it, and she was like, "I'm not doing that." She was like, "I don't have the self-control to watch week to week," and I was like. And she was like, plus, what if things get spoiled for you? And I was like, it's Stranger Things 4. Like, if things get spoiled for me, it's not going to be the end of the world. Like,
I'm not on the internet, so...
Yeah, so it'll be fine for you. And
so you two are going to be fucked.
Yeah, my situation is mostly at work is where I'll be worried about being spoiled.
Well, and if you open YouTube.
But I think it'll be a fun experiment because we'll be able to talk about how the show is different watching it one a week as opposed to how we're used to watching every other season of this show, which is pretty much all at once.
And we've been excited with some of the shows that we've watched recently, like with Moon Knight, for example.
Yeah.
And
Loki.
especially with Chucky.
Yeah.
We loved watching it week to week. And there was definitely times when I was like, God damn it, I want another episode. Or with Severance, where I was like, I need to know what the fuck is going on.
That's a good feeling, though, and you can see,
but it
you
builds
can theorize,
anticipation.
and you can, and I'm excited to theorize with you guys about what we think is going to happen, and then everybody can just watching that be like, you fucking idiots, we all know what happened.
Yeah. So I mean, and a lot of times for me, if we're not talking about the show on the show, I'll quit watching a show.
Yeah, no. So
unfortunately,
and it's built my anticipation up for this season because we're doing something different with it. It reminds me of like when I did like Nuzlocke challenges with Pokemon, where it's like just playing the game in a more challenging, different way is exciting for me because everything is boring these days. So
you think it's going to be? I think it's going to be most difficult for you.
Absolutely, 100%. Because I guarantee
you're the biggest cuck for Stranger Things.
Well, I think that the biggest issue is going to be that the people in my house will likely not adhere to the rule.
They've been looking at our stories about it, and I haven't heard either of them be like, "Yeah, we're interested." I'm like, I know they're looking at the stories and be like, "Those fucking idiots."
Yeah, Brittany is like when Stranger Things comes out, it is like moment it's out, everything gets watched all at once.
Yeah, because when 3 came out, I think both of you were like, just fucking watch it. And I waited. I think I still watched it pretty quickly.
Well, we
but
started
I
it at your house. We started it back here.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I didn't go binge it. I waited like maybe a week or two to finish it. And even that felt long for some of it because that's just pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a hard part is when they drop a bomb. And then it's like, well, now you have to force yourself to wait. That's going to be the self-control. Because with Chucky and Loki and whatever, we had to wait.
Yeah.
Now we don't. So good luck to us.
Self-control is the name of the game.
Yeah.
That'll wrap it up for Chop Talk, though. If you have any thoughts on that, then please let us know on Instagram. And please join us for Break the Binge when Stranger Things 4 drops. But we will go ahead and get started with that trivia.
That Christmas house of wax, the fog, piranha. It's one of those, right? Right?
Oh, yeah. John. What's my line?
Line.
Nailed it.
Sing the song, Johnny.
Hit
it, Johnny.
Man.
Your trivia tune this week is Trivia.
Is that the Moon Knight theme song?
It is the Moon Knight theme song. A very, very
like, there's
poor.
no way you pull anything from Northman.
Yeah.
Just screaming. Trivia.
Ooh.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
So we
You're
are
so
playing Pass the Popcorn Thrills and Chills Edition. Each card has the potential for 5 points. If I read a year and the genre, then and they get one of them guesses, then we can get 5 points. Any clue after that gets 1 less point. I'll read to John. John's gonna read to Anthony, and Anthony will read back to me.
And who won last week?
I did.
Tone. He's got a 2-peak streak.
I got a 2-peak streak. John, your first one is a 1986 sci-fi movie.
86 science fiction. Give me the first clue.
Okay. A pregnant woman has a nightmare that she gives birth to a giant maggot.
Ooh.
Is that Cronenberg's The Fly?
That is correct for 4 points.
Yeah, I'll take a good start.
Drop the just fly.
Just. And then you have a 1954 thriller.
Give me the first clue. I ain't confident in the 50s.
A man watches a dog dig at a flower bed in the courtyard outside his apartment. Boop-a-doo-doop-a-doop-doop-doo.
Wait, who's doing that?
Me.
No, don't do that.
That's just,
Is it
Filling time.
Rear Window?
It is indeed the Cox Rear Window.
Wow. Hey.
They're not all John Carpenter. It's not all the directors. All right, Tone, you got a 1984 slasher film.
84.
Mm-hmm.
Did we do these?
I don't remember getting a
Okay. I'll take it. The first one.
clue.
Yeah.
A teenage boy discovers a shit in his bed. No, a teenage boy is sucked into his bed while he sleeps.
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
It is Nightmare on Elm Street.
I probably would have just ripped that one.
I thought, but I ripped that already when
No.
we did it. When we did the test run, I think we done some of these.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Fine, John.
The fact that we're not all like, yep, 100% means that we might as well just do them again.
You got a 1976 horror movie, John.
You said 1976.
Yeah.
Horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the first clue.
Pranksters dump a bucket of pig's blood on a prom queen.
Carrie.
That is correct. Those fucking pranksters,
Those
dude.
fucking pranksters, my
Urinal
guy.
pranks.
You mean Brian De Palma's Carrie?
Yeah. De Palma. De Palma my hand, you know what I'm saying?
The power of the sun in De Palma my hand.
Ugh. Anthony, you have a 1992 horror.
That's the year I was born. I feel like we probably have done these cards because I think I said the exact same thing last time this probably came up. Give me the first clue.
A man is attacked by several miniature versions of himself.
We've definitely done these.
I think that we've
Probably done all of them.
yeah.
I don't know.
Is it Army of Darkness?
It is Army of Darkness.
All right.
All right. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
Don't sweat it.
Okay. 4-4.
Yep. And you have a 1990 comedy whenever you're ready.
Go ahead and give it to me.
A husband and wife use their gun arsenal to battle a monster that has broken into their rec room.
Is that comedy?
Mm-hmm.
Comedy's nuts.
Is it Tremors?
It is Tremors.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's still tied up.
Yeah. Shocker.
Tied up in the basement.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right, John. You got a 1982 sci-fi movie.
82 science fiction. Give me the clue.
A dog. Oh, you want more than that?
No, we did this one for sure.
I know.
Yeah, we definitely for sure did.
Sprouts
this.
tentacles that lash out and attack all the other dogs in the cage with it.
It's the thing, right?
Yeah. Woohoo!
Yeah, we definitely did this one.
You know,
Some of them we didn't.
I have a hunch. I'm starting to think we've done these before. I don't know what's making me think that.
Anyway.
Just test your acting ability
Yeah.
by pretending you haven't done them before.
Anthony, you have a 1996 slasher film.
Give me... Ooh! Scream.
It is indeed Scream.
See, that's not because I remember doing that card. That's because we just covered Scream, and I remember that it was 1996. Tone, you have a 1988 slasher, and I got 5 points on that one. Whenever you're ready, bro.
I'm just trying to see if there's anything we got left. I don't think we do. I'm sorry, you got 5 points?
Mm-hmm.
What was the thing?
It was Scream. And your thing is a 1988 slasher film.
I'm not sure. Go ahead and give me that first clue.
A doll stabs a man through the seat of his car while he's driving.
Child's Play.
Child's Play. There you go.
That's just going to be who can remember.
Who can remember the last time we did these cards?
Yeah. All right, John, you got a 1978 slasher film.
This is for the audience to learn, okay? It's not about us.
Is that Halloween?
5 points for John.
Should we describe a different box of cards and just start this section over again?
We shouldn't because we've been going on too long already.
Anthony, you have a 1983 horror film.
Give me the clue.
A woman beats a dog to death with a baseball bat.
Cujo?
It is Cujo. Cujo?
Is that you, Cujo? Tony, you got a 2000 thriller.
Go ahead and give me the clue there.
A high school boy hears a John Denver song ominously playing in an airport bathroom
Final Destination.
while he's taking a shit next to his best friend.
And we had a conversation about that.
Yeah.
All right, John. 1996 horror.
96 horror.
Yep.
Specifically.
That's what it says.
Give me the clue.
A man shoots bullets from a gun mounted on his crotch.
Gun mounted to crotch. I'm going to say is that From Dusk Till Dawn?
That is correct, sir. Good
I
job.
was worried for you there for a
Yeah.
second.
See, that one we haven't done.
Yeah, we did.
What's the score so far for everybody?
John has 19. And then you have 9. Oh, no, because you haven't gone yet.
Okay, hit me.
2001 thriller.
I think I did the math wrong.
Give me the clue.
A young girl shows her mother a drawing of the spirits she has seen in the house.
This is. I'm sure that I'm gonna feel dumb for not immediately guessing this, but also that's super fucking vague. From 2001.
Mm-hmm.
You said a young girl.
Young girl shows her mother a drawing of the spirits she has seen in their house.
You know this, dude.
Yeah, probably.
I 100% know based off talking to you today that you know this.
Yes. 1000%.
That's why I was gonna say I'm gonna feel dumb. So it's something I've talked about today.
Or referenced. I
Yeah,
guess.
reference would probably be more accurate.
I don't know why I'm trying to help him win. I need another point to stay in the game.
The others,
It is the others. The one at the bottom of this is, are you mad? I am your daughter.
dude. So the others was my first thought, but I could not remember that I had referenced it. It's hot in here apparently because
Your brain is
because I
cooking.
literally did just say I am your daughter. All right, Tone, you got a 1999 fantasy film.
Fantasy film. Fantasy. 1999 fantasy. I need a point.
1999 fantasy. He's got a 1999 90 fantasy. What you gonna do? Fantasy.
Want a Fanta? Don't you want?
I don't know. Go ahead and give me that.
First clue is a man is swarmed and devoured by scarab beetles.
God damn it. The Mummy.
You must not read from the book. Yep. It's the mum.
That's not book from the read.
All right. Well, I got 20 and you both have 21. And we're moving into the final one here. John, you got a 1994 fantasy.
94 fantasy?
Fantasy.
Just go for it.
Nah, I don't have it.
Risk it for the biscuit.
Now, give me the clue, please.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the air turned on. A young female vampire kills her piano teacher in the middle of a lesson.
It said interview with the vampire.
Ooh, that is correct.
Drop the just interview with vampire.
I think we made that same
Probably, I'm sure.
It's like a repeat.
Pete and
This is
repeat.
a rerun episode. Yeah.
And then you have a 1958 monster movie.
Godzilla.
It's Tone. The Blob.
Oh
No!
I don't care.
Fuck.
I just didn't want to get into a tie with you.
Yeah. You're like, I'm just backing off.
Yeah. Tone, you have a 1982 horror film.
I have to rip it to even stand a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Isn't that you every day?
82.
1982.
He's got to risk it for the biscuit, love.
The Evil Dead.
No, it's Poltergeist.
There you go, dude. I would have only gotten 4 points and still lost, so.
Good game, even though it's apparently a game we've all played before.
Yeah. So next week we will definitely have to jump into regular old pass the popcorn.
Yeah, but hope you guys enjoyed that. If you remember us doing those questions, remind us which episode it was. And you'll get extra Todd Browning points.
Those Todd Browning points.
Yeah. How can you convince us if you can't even convince yourself?
I know. I'm still trying to be like, didn't we do this? But we did. All right. Anyway, that'll wrap it up for trivia. John, tell them how they can get lots more trivia.
So you're looking
new trivia each time.
Yeah, so if you're looking for trivia that's not a rerun, head over to patreon.com/Porcelain Peak, where you can get hours and hours of additional bonus content, like our Patreon bonus episodes that we do every single week, where we give each other trivia quizzes. This week I did it movie game. Oops, all sci-fi edition. Tone, your quiz
was a grab bag of plot descriptions with a weird theme.
Yeah,
Very weird theme.
very weird theme. And then yours was,
By Odin's beard, it was a Norse mythology quiz.
which was difficult but fun. We learned a lot, and we gained a lot of points based on the fact that we have seen the Thor movies. But that you can get for $5 a month. For $10 a month, you can get access to our Slasher Piece Theater commentary tracks, where we talk over the top of films. We need to watch Little Nicky yesterday, but we will definitely get that done for you for this month. And then also you can get access to a print that Anthony Silva designs every single month, which are a ton of fun. There were 2 from last month. Those will likely be on screen here. There's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre Chili Warhol, is what I'm just calling it. It's Chili Warhol.
Yeah, I like it.
And then
that would be a cool name.
I love my
like,
cold
for-
artists.
and then Bat Fart.
Yeah, and then this month's print is a Ring Morbius print, the Ring Morbius print. So look out for that on Patreon. I'll post it tomorrow. Who knows? I don't know. It's mystery.
And then for $20 a month, you can join our producer tier, where you get early access to our episodes. You get the ability to help us come up with ideas for the show. You get a shirt every 6 months, also designed by Anthony Silva. And then for any of the tiers that you're looking at, you will get an ad-free version of the episode. So if you're seeing or hearing it, if you're doing it on Patreon, you will not be getting the ads for that.
Yeah, speaking of ads, we're going to take a little break, hit you with some ads, and then we're going to talk about the Northman.
Northside Long Beach.
Mudwater.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hey, Tone, what's that you're drinking?
Oh, this is a nice tall mug full of mud water.
What in the Sam Hain is Mudwater?
Mudwater is an all-natural coffee alternative that has immune benefits and helps with sustained focus without the jitters and crash of coffee.
What's in it? What's it taste like? What's the deal?
It's made from chai, cacao, reishi, cinnamon, and more, and tastes like a chocolatey chai.
How often do you drink it?
I personally use it every day, and as you creeps know, I'm pretty sensitive to caffeine.
I once saw you look at an energy drink and you stayed up all night.
That's a true story. But I can have mud water in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the early evening without feeling anxious, weird, or having trouble sleeping.
Whether you're running around Crystal Lake, pulling a blanket over your eyes, or stressing on which episode of Porcelain Peak to listen to next, Mudwater has your back when the going gets tough.
As Tone mentioned, Mudwater contains reishi, which has been used in Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years and nicknamed the mushroom of immortality. As a key ingredient in Mudwater, reishi will give you added support for your capacity to handle stress while supporting a healthy immune response.
Check out our affiliate link in the show notes to get Mudwater, creamer, sweetener, even a frother if you're feeling froggy, or go for the starter kit like I did, which includes a killer recipe booklet.
That's mudwtr.com, or use the link in our show notes to help out your favorite podcasters.
Hey, you want to see something really scary?
Welcome back. This week we are talking about Robert Eggers, the mini haircuts of Alex Skarsgård, a.k.a. the Northman. Oh, shit.
Yeah, so this movie was
Starring. Hit us with some starrings, huh?
Alexander Skarsgård,
Nicole Kidman.
who I can never see in a movie and not immediately think she's a see you next Tuesday. And she
Oh,
did.
is she?
No, I mean, like, just the roles she plays in movies. Like, she always seems like that's the kind of role she's playing. Didn't disappoint in this. Anya Taylor-Joy.
Joy. Ethan Hawke. Clay Bang.
Sure.
That's the
Willem
the
Dafoe.
brother.
The old class bang.
Willem.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Elliot
Bjork.
Rose. Gustav Lind.
Bjork.
Yeah, and Bjork, which I was like, give me some more Bjork.
Yeah, we get her for
I want
like
some
5
Bjork.
whole seconds. Yeah, so this movie is, I mean, if you don't know who Robert Eggers is, directed The Witch and The Lighthouse for A24. Now he is with, what is this? Is this a... Comcast.
Which I was like, wow, Comcast
Is it Focus
let him
Features?
do this.
Or, yeah. So, I mean, good for him. Obviously, he got a much bigger budget on this than he's had on any of his previous movies. But very, very basically, this is a Viking revenge story. If you know anything about the original story that this is based on, it's an old Norse legend that is actually, and I found this out before seeing the movie, the inspiration for Hamlet.
Yeah.
Shakespeare's inspiration, and then I had my whole like, oh my god, awakening moment when I was watching the interview with Robert Eggers and Alexander Skarsgård, and one of them said omelette, and I was like, Amlet?
Yeah.
Du fromage? Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, it's the same name, just with the letter moved. So, you lazy son of a bitch, Shakespeare.
Apparently he's notorious for that.
Yeah. Just it's like a J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Just I'm gonna name them after wolves
Celestial
because he's
beings.
secretly a werewolf. So I'm gonna name him Wolfman.
Name Lupine.
Wolfman McMoon.
Sounds like a really terrible wrestler from like the Attitude Era.
Yeah, brother. I'm Wolfman McMoon,
And I'm coming for your beef jerky.
oh yeah, about to have an American werewolf in your ass.
Bonesaw is ready.
Yes, so this is, and I guess we're going to talk spoilers, but it's about a young boy whose father is king and then is viciously murdered, and he pledges to his father before that if anything ever happens to him, that he will avenge him.
Yeah, so this boy's got 3 goals in life.
Yes. To avenge his father, to save his mother, and to kill his uncle,
Fjolnir.
and then a huge time jump, and we get to see him as an adult, and then he seeks out his revenge.
Yeah,
That's
so
the basic plot of this movie.
The parallel that I also didn't even realize until Robert Eggers called it this was, so the young boy pretty quickly, and this was spoiled in the trailers, so I knew it could not have been like some big twist that Ethan Hawke's character was only in the movie for like 10 minutes because he gets killed in the trailer. But then we get the Hakuna Matata period is what Robert Eggers called it, which is when his character goes off and grows up and becomes a berserker.
Because Lion King is also based on Hamlet.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So all of these things, you could do a really great double feature with the Lion King and the Northman.
Yeah, show that to your kids for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, so he grows up, he gets fucking beefy.
He's just a fucking
that's an understatement.
He's just a wall of man meat.
Yeah, just free range.
He's got, dude, whatever this fucking muscle is, I was like,
he's got traps for days.
Dude.
Yeah, I saw on YouTube one of my recommended videos was like how I trained Alex Skarsgård for the Northman, and I was like, nope, I do not want to feel that bad about myself. But yeah, so for a very straightforward movie, Robert Eggers does what he does with most of his stuff, or all of his stuff, which is adds a ton of really kind of surreal, symbolic imagery to it, while also being very, very strict to be as historically accurate as possible throughout the movie. So watching the behind-the-scenes stuff, he talks about how, the kind of boats they use, the kind of flowers that are planted on the beach when the boat goes by, the nails they used. He was even down to asking, like, can Alexander Skarsgård's character wear a leather headband? And the person was like, not if you want to be period inaccurate. He's not going to Woodstock. He's a Viking, so they would have it be made out of this. So that kind of stuff always blows me away because as stylized as his movies are, they're probably the closest you get to actually seeing what it was like to be a lighthouse keeper or a
witch,
or a Northman.
Right, and even watching the movie, there's a twist toward the end that I called almost immediately. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the movie, I was like, okay, this movie is predictable, right?
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, okay, but if you are Eggers, you can take something that is predictable, something that you've seen before, something that's not super original story-wise, and if you do it right, it doesn't matter. And I think this is a great example of that because even though you can pinpoint what's going to happen and where this is going to go, and you have seen it before, it's so fucking good. It's really about the journey, and this journey is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's almost more of a challenge is if you're able to do that. If you're able to take something that isn't relying on the twists and turns of the story or isn't relying on how like crazy intricate the narrative is, but is instead relying on, because it just feels like anytime somebody like Oz Perkins decides to do Gretel and Hansel and put a twist on that, where it's like, yeah, it's a very basic story, but he, you know, maybe not, obviously not as successfully as in this case, but takes a basic story and adds a lot of flavor and atmosphere and surrealism to it. This is kind of what that reminded me of, or something like The Green Knight, which is also a very kind of basic Arthurian legend, but then it has all of this added stuff. I felt like this movie was almost in between those two, where Green Knight was way too far up its ass in a lot of places for me, in terms of reinterpreting a legend to be surreal and crazy, and then Gretel and Hansel was maybe not as far as I wanted some things to be pushed. This felt like it was more in the middle there, where I could still understand what was going on, and which was surprising for a Robert Eggers movie, even without subtitles. I could understand what was going on, and I think the fact that it was such a basic story helped me appreciate everything else that was going on so much more, because I didn't have to focus on, I was like, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to get revenge. And when, you know, like, I don't need to know anything beyond that, you know, and then when there's a little twists and turns thrown in there, they are kind of predictable, but it's not, the movie's not relying on those to be successful.
It's relying on the performance of the actors, which are fantastic, pretty much wall to wall.
I mean, I don't really like Nicole Kidman too much as an actress. She's always been kind of like blah, like nothing to me in the movies that I've seen her in, but I thought that her performance in this was fantastic for the little that we do have her on screen. She, like, everybody pretty much just goes balls to the wall with their performances. They're all just screaming and shouting and roaring at each other, and I thought that Anya Taylor-Joy was, as usual, just like completely mesmerizing throughout the entire movie, and ethereal, which is what she is and is supposed to be in this movie. And yeah, Skarsgård, I don't know him from a whole lot. I just know seeing him ripped in other stuff like Tarzan, in trailers, and then I know is he from True Blood? Is that where he's from?
Fantasia.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's what a lot of people know him from.
Yeah, and I know that's like, so I just always kind of thought, oh, you know, I'm more of a fan of his brother, who obviously is Pennywise and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But in this, I was like, oh, this guy's actually a really good actor, and I really, really enjoyed his performance. And it's always good to see Ethan Hawke in a movie too.
Yeah.
So
We're getting a lot of Hawk lately.
Yeah, because we're gonna have a little Hawk double feature for this episode.
the Hawkessance.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we should address that this really isn't horror or sci-fi. It is a fucking brutal movie, and the reason that we wanted to discuss this on the show, one, because we were all fucking excited about it, I think, to say that,
we've gotten away covering movies on less, I think, than on covering this one.
Oh yeah,
there's witches in this, which is how we got away with doing Macbeth.
Yeah, kind of. But Eggers is known, obviously, for The Witch and for The Lighthouse, and those are both horror movies, more or less, and so we did want to cover it because of him and dive into his new project.
On top of that, his use of imagery is so based in brutality and violence and all of the things that make horror nice and just
This movie is delicious. So fucking brutal and violent, dude. It's crazy. There's parts I was like, God damn.
The horse made of man parts. Fucking
That reminded me of that thing from Midsummer, the like flayed eagle thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Or something that you'd see in like the Hannibal TV show. Like they always have like the pyramids made out of bodies and stuff that he's investigating. But yeah, brutal movie, but also they show most of like the really big action scene from the beginning. That's pretty much the whole trailer, and then the movie actually has a lot more like kind of downtime to it that where I would. But like, I think a lot of people going into this are probably going to be surprised that it isn't all just Skarsgård running around shirtless, like catching spears and throwing them back. You know, like that's cool, but that's the first, you know, or that's the second 20 minutes of the movie, and then there's a long period of him like kind of prepping his revenge and infiltrating this farm and doing all of this stuff, and then it gets brutal again toward the end, to the point where I was like, I said to you and to Ashley when we got out of the movie, I was like, it is just blowing my mind how incredibly gorgeous some of the films that we've been seeing recently, like in the past couple years, have been, to where I'm just like, I just sit there going, I can't even imagine how a person was able to put this image together, and I feel like I'm in some sort of like dreamscape while watching it. And Eggers obviously is a master at that, and for only having done 3 movies And for him to say that these 3 movies still have not reached like the level of what he sees in his imagination, I think is absolutely insane and just makes me way more excited for what he comes out with next. Because I agree with what you said right when we got out, or you texted him, I think, and said Eggers is 3 for 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's made a bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is now I think we gotta see what Disappointments Boulevard is like from Ari Aster, because then we'll know which of the 2 is superior.
I mean, I think the room will be firmly split right here. I'm pretty sure.
I will say though, I just recently rewatched the trailer, and Eggers, they put visionary director.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that compared to another visionary director that we talk about on the show, he has earned that fucking title, because his movies are very unique.
They're visionary. Like, that's the one time that word is actually used properly. Is like, he is creating an art piece.
Yeah, he's an auteur filmmaker. They've thrown that word around for him for the last like 2 years, basically since The Lighthouse came out. And I think that it's very accurate here. I think that, like I said, him and Ari Aster are probably the forefront of like that next generation of auteur filmmakers. You could throw Jordan Peele in there as well, just making the thing that they want to make and doing everything that they can to make sure that it comes out the way that they want it to.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. Is that's something that's really inspiring to me about Eggers also, is that whenever you hear him talking about why he made these movies that he's made, it's always, I was just really into like New England folklore and wanted to study the shit out of it, and then when I was fully entrenched in knowing every aspect of it, I made this movie. And then he was like, then I was interested in lighthouse keepers from this period in time, and I did all the research into that and found out everything I could find out about that with all of the historical people that experts that I could talk to about that field. Same with the Northman. It's like, then I was interested in Viking culture and representing that correctly. Like, not everybody's wearing metal hats with horns sticking out, and
It's
trying.
not How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
And trying to actually represent, Viking culture. And I always find that so inspiring, because if I were to make a movie, I would hope that I would have the opportunity to go like, what's something, we were talking about fuck around money earlier, where it's just like, what's something I'm super interested in, and I just want to become so entrenched in it that I'm living and breathing that, and then make a movie about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that's how he is able to make these movies so meticulously and make them so much his vision, is that he is living and breathing every aspect of the culture that he is trying to represent and the story that he's trying to tell. And I think honestly that's the best way to approach making a movie.
What about your favorite part, John? What was like fuck yeah for you?
I loved all of the nighttime scenes at the village. I loved him like sneaking around doing like the reverse Batman shit, fucking people up in the night, and then just being like, oh, I'm just a good boy. I'm not doing anything during the day, as everyone's freaking the fuck out about people dying left and right. I loved all of those scenes and the results of them, getting to see, like I said, the horse made of man parts. That shit is fucking brutal and fantastic. I also really enjoyed the ending. I felt like the climactic battle in the middle of the fucking magma field, fucking so cool. And all of the effects just look just chef's kiss, beautiful.
I made the joke that Amleth should have at one point been, it's over, Fjolnir. I have the high ground.
What did you think about the pacing?
So I was expecting it to be slower, if I'm honest. I mean, his previous movies are relatively short runtimes that are notorious for feeling like they take forever to set up.
Yeah.
But
like The Witch is only an hour and a half, and like I think you said last week, it feels so much longer than it really is. And this I'd have to rewatch again to really get a feel on the pacing, but I didn't feel like the movie went on any longer than I expected that story to go.
I didn't feel like it dragged. Wasn't looking at my watch. I was firmly engaged in the story, from opening beat to the simultaneous double kill at the end of the movie.
Double kill.
Yeah, and the only thing that distracted us the whole time was just.
Oh yeah, it sounded like somebody had piped in the audience noise directly into my ears through like studio earphones or something, because it was just like somebody came in, they sat down, and then they opened a bag of chips that sounded almost like a gunshot. It was like whoosh, and then slam a straw into the
chips.
Yeah, that's how they were getting the chips. No,
They're trying to suck dry ass chips out of the bag. Just
What's the real horror story?
Yeah,
here?
yeah, but it was just so many people like brought things from outside. You could hear the
Cans.
the old somebody pulling a horror movie crew and opening a beer in the middle of the movie, that sort of shit.
My audience was fucking fantastic, which I was not expecting.
You went to the good theater.
That's not always the case, though. But it worked out, and I was like, this is dope. But yeah, like you said, I think the pacing, because this movie starts off hard, and it goes hard for a while, and then it does slow down, but even the slow parts aren't really that slow. Stuff is constantly happening, and so I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Because even there's just a little bit. We'll get a little downtime, and then some action, and then a little downtime, and then some action, and then some sex scenes or whatever. Like, there's so much stuff happening almost constantly, and you're learning about the world. Skarsgård's learning about the world that he's now entered and his new role in it, going from prince to warrior to slave, and then trying to get out of that. It's very interesting, and I was like, dude, this is crazy for a 2.5 hour movie.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I was on board the entire time. Something that I did want to touch on, though, is the ending. You mentioned this big climactic ending, and it's very fucking satisfying, I think. But I feel like Eggers was damned if he did and damned if he didn't, because basically there's no character development in this movie.
Yeah.
Everybody goes in and they just are what they are.
Yeah, he gets the moment on the boat to make the decision whether he's going to develop as a character or whether he's going to stay single-minded on his revenge trek. And to me, my okay, well, this feels very Norse warrior mentality, I'm gonna die, because even his father was like, I'm gonna die in battle, that's the only way I'm gonna die, and he's like, there's nothing that can change that, and he's his whole life's been affected by what happened to him and what happened with his father, that he can't live any other way.
So for me, my counter argument in this area is,
no, I don't have an argument. I'm just saying that he could have made that arc there, and we could have seen that development, or he could have gone and fought his uncle. And there's only cinematically, I think that we would have been very disappointed if he didn't get. Well,
I thought, and that's what I'm going to say, is that I was about to fucking throw my non-existent popcorn up in the air when he was on that boat and he was sailing off with her, and I was like, "Don't you fucking leave! You haven't gotten your revenge
after 2 hours."
Yeah, and I was like, "We've been going through this whole thing," and so then when he does go back to get his revenge, I was like, "Yes."
So I think that it was less about the revenge. So I think by the time he gets to the boat, he's already made peace with the fact that the situation was not what he thought it was at that point in time, and it was less about the revenge and more about the protecting of his future children, about the prophecy that is being put in place about how he's not the great ruler, that his daughter will soon be the great ruler, and also just completing this process.
Well, because he's given that choice, right? Where it's like you have the choice to either get your revenge, or is it protect your heirs or protect your family or whatever it is.
I think it's get your revenge or meet your children.
Okay. Yeah. So I think he was kind of going okay, I can maybe not meet my children, but I can at least make sure they exist by going and doing this thing. So
we do kind of get, I feel like a lot of filmmakers at this point would have had him kill his uncle, get his revenge, and then meet up with them.
Yeah.
And been tightly wrapped, which is kind of a disservice, and it takes guts to not do that. And I think Eggers does that.
It's a tragedy. It's not supposed to be
And so we get our satisfying ending, which is a little cheesy, but we get Skarsgård able to, through his vision quest, see that his kids are going to be okay. The kids are all right.
Yeah.
And I was okay with that.
Yeah.
With him completing what he wanted to do and then not having this happy ending. He still dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he dies in the way that he kind of always knew he was going to die, and also the way that his father wanted to die, and kind of how, it's the warrior's death, and they're going to go to Valhalla, and they're going to get witnessed.
Fury Road.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I totally was on board for the way that it wrapped up and everything. It felt very satisfying to me. I think my favorite part of the movie, to answer your earlier question, was the cave scene where it's Willem Dafoe's weird corpse head.
That was a good one too.
And they're doing and he goes in and given the whole thing. I just liked any of the stuff that had that end of the witch firelit atmosphere to it. I thought was super cool. And then also, really, that climax is just unbelievable at the bottom of the volcano, and just the choreography of the fight scene and how brutal everything is. I also really liked that the noseless guy kept popping up and that his death was very hardcore.
Just through his nose,
right in his nose hole. Yeah.
I also really dug the skeleton fight, at like when he goes down to try to claim the moon sword. It's like that whole like just like all happening in his head kind of thing. I was like, that's really cool, and it kind of ties into what we'll be talking about in a few short minutes.
I did also want to mention, because you brought it up briefly, it was the lighting in this movie. I thought it was done so
well. It all feels very natural.
Exactly, yeah. And so there's times when it's dark, and movies will do that where it's hella dark and you can't even fucking see what's going on, and that's irritating as hell.
Yeah.
But this one is done, I guess I'll say expertly, where it seems dark, it seems like it's nighttime, it seems like it's lit by fire, but you're still able to understand the movement on screen. And I was very impressed by that. I kept just getting stuck on not watching the story and just focusing on what the landscape looked like.
Yeah, and you can use that kind of lighting to your advantage to make it so that the only thing somebody is focusing on is that figure that they're supposed to be focusing on, or that action that they're supposed to be focusing on. I will say that I think that the show that we're going to be talking about, Moon Knight, is guilty of having scenes that are a bit too fucking dark at nighttime to where I have no clue what's going on. But yeah, I mean, this was just all across the board: music, cinematography, directing, acting.
Yeah, the score was great, dude.
Yeah, fucking fantastic, and done all with instruments that would have been used at
Of course
the time.
it was.
So yeah,
And fucking Bjork.
yeah.
Like, how cool is it if you're gonna get anybody to play your like Norse witch? That's
And then
fucking
just
tight,
getting
dude.
Willem Dafoe to play the like weird ass jester who makes like his first line is him making like a dick joke.
Yeah.
I loved it. Is there anything that you guys didn't like?
I mean, the audience.
Okay.
That's about it for me. I felt like I was engaged the entire time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say didn't like. I would say more things that I wanted more of would be I wanted more of Bjork. I wanted more of like some of those characters like Willem Dafoe and Bjork, where I was impressed that he was able to get such a big actor like Willem Dafoe. Obviously, they're friends at this point. To be in a role that's so like inconsequential
it's
to the rest
second
of the
fiddle.
movie. Yeah, and I thought that was obviously impressive that he's good enough friends with him to do that, but I just wanted more of those characters. And so because it is such a fast-paced movie, I almost wanted it to sit longer with some stuff like it does in The Witch, where it really just sits for a really long time with the characters. But that's asking for a different kind of story, I think, than what this is, like, because this is like you said, a very bare bones kind of like no character development type of story. It's more of a fairy tale, or a folk tale. So yeah, but I wouldn't really say there was anything that I didn't like. I really enjoyed it. I just think that a lot of people going into this might expect it to be like a full-on action romp from beginning to end, and I know that some of our audience members sounded like they were like kind of, what the fuck was that? Like at the end.
Really?
But yeah, I think it just depends on what you're...
If you think what the fuck was that after watching that,
Well,
go watch Green Knight and really learn what the fuck is that after,
Yeah.
or Lamb, and try to make any fucking sense of any of that shit.
Yeah.
that's a good point. So do we want to rate this fucker?
Yeah, let's rate it out of
5 no-noses?
5 no-noses. Yeah.
I'm really torn because liked the movie, 5 out of 5. I left it and I was like, that was just a beautifully made movie. Like, that's the reason people should make movies, and I feel like that's a movie that could make somebody fall in love with movies.
Yeah.
In the way that it's made. Cinematically, I've been thinking a lot about it just because there is not a ton of character development. Well, almost none, except for the point that you brought up, which I didn't really think about, is that his motivation has changed. So maybe there is some. So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna go 5.
Wow.
Yeah, I was torn between a 4.5 and that, and I wanted to do 7.5, but I was like, that's stupid. So I'm gonna say it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it.
You're
5 no-noses.
say you're only gonna hang out on that at the end of that plank by yourself for a couple of seconds, because it is also a 5 for me. I feel like at this point, Eggers has not dropped anything that's not a 5 for me.
Interesting.
5.
Oh, 5 no
No
noses.
noses. I will say that now that you brought up the like lack of character development, I do think that I'm gonna knock off at least half a star, just because I just really some of the stuff
Half
between
a no-nose.
well,
Half a no-nose.
yeah, some of the stuff between Alexander Skarsgård and Anya Taylor-Joy felt a little bit like, okay, we just got to get them to this point, and her character I think was probably the least interesting to me in what was going on in the movie. And so there are some characters that I feel like don't hold up as strongly. So I'd say that maybe a 4.5, but it's probably going to be a 5 when I watch it with subtitles.
Yeah.
As all of his movies end up being. I think for The Lighthouse, I gave it a 4 the first time I watched it. Watch it with subtitles, 5. Same with The Witch. Obviously, we talked about rewatching that. So you guys won't be alone on that 5 plank for very long, I'm sure.
All right, well, there you go. That is our discussion on The Northman. Let us know what you think if you saw it. If you didn't see it, then we don't want to know.
And look out for the sequel, North by Northman.
We're going to get started with our final cut.
What do you know? I asked for final cut, and I got it!
This week for our final cut, we're talking about the Disney Plus original Marvel Kevin Feige production Moon Knight episodes 4 and 5. Is that right?
Yes.
4 and 5, yep.
Yes. So
So one more left.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't feel like we're there yet. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. When the moon hits your eye
So-
like it's some crazy guy, that's a moon night.
It's pretty good. Is that on the spot right now?
I think I wrote
Been
something
toying that?
similar
Yeah. Okay.
For Instagram last week.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the first time I've said it out loud.
So episode 4 is them apparently attempting to find...
The tomb of Amit, because they're
Right.
trying to get there before Ethan Hawke's character does, because
Right.
his plan is to Thanos it up and kill a bunch of people.
We get some horror elements in this.
Yeah. So they end up
Some pyramid cats.
Yeah, they end up fighting some pyramid cats, which was the cool part of this episode for me. We get some Alexander the Great. They discover the tomb of Alexander the Great, I guess, and realize that he was the voice of Amit. So then we get some deep throating a mummy, some fisting to get that statue
Why are you
out.
looking at me?
Then there's some manufactured conflict between Lila, whatever her name is, Layla, and Mark, because she finds out that Mark was there when her father was killed, and this was one of the parts of this episode that I did not like. And then...
Why didn't you like it?
Because to me it just felt very much like, okay, they're almost to where they need to be in the story, so we're just going to just put in a little bit of like random drama here to... I also just don't find their whole relationship totally compelling or interesting. I just kind of wish that she wasn't in the show. But
well, we have been building up to that, and then we do get a little bit more of it in this next episode. So I felt like it worked for me.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it either. I felt like they'd been building kind of like this, the reason why he has stepped aside and put his human shield as Steven in between.
Well, I liked the moment when Steven told her, like, when they kissed or whatever, or they were going to kiss, and then he tells her why Mark left her. I was like, oh, that's a cool little moment where they're starting to kind of cross over and help each other out, which is obviously the big like lesson of these 2 episodes is Steven and Mark finally learning to kind of work together. Overall, I enjoyed the episode because of the horror elements, and I thought that the set design in this show continues to be really fucking cool, especially if you're somebody who's into Egyptian shit like we are. I find all of this stuff super, super fascinating.
And there was definitely parts of it that I was like, oh, that was from The Mummy. Oh, they did that in The Mummy. Like the jars with the organs and everything. I was like, oh, yeah, The Mummy did that.
Yeah, and then
Let's be real.
we get Harrow coming in and shooting Mark/Steven to potential death. But then we get the part of the episode which, until this week's episode, I also did not like about this, which was then Mark wakes up to, I guess, realize that he has supposedly been in some sort of mental hospital with a Dr. Harrow played by Ethan Hawke.
You didn't like this either?
So I didn't like it until this episode, because up until the hippo lady shows up at the end of this, I was like, are you really going to waste our time by trying to pull like a switcheroo, like the rug out from under us?
You didn't understand what the point of it was.
Where I was like, we've seen this so many times where somebody's crazy, and then that's like, oh, everything they've been seeing around the room has been worked into their crazy man vision. It's Shutter Island.
Yeah.
I was like, we've seen this already, and I just didn't want it.
Usual Suspects.
Yeah. I was like, I just don't want to see this done again. But then the next episode obviously very quickly reveals that that's not all there is going on, and that it's some sort of like afterlife, limbo, and more stuff gets introduced to where I was like, okay, now I'm sold on it. You saved it. And I fucking loved the newest episode 5. It was awesome.
What are your thoughts on 4?
So I enjoyed 4. I felt like the twist was somewhat earned. Kind of the jumping into this asylum and going through that process, and the little stuff tucked away in the Easter eggs where I felt like I was constantly looking out for new shit there, because he ends up finding Steven in a sarcophagus. There's a real sarcophagi in there. They find him, and then they're looking through all these rooms, and there's another one. There's another one in there they don't open.
And we've gotten hints that there's potentially another personality, because in the episode previous, they were like, I don't remember doing that, and I don't remember doing that. Well, then who done did that?
And in the outro of the show, it shows Oscar Isaac like pulled apart, and he's got 3 faces.
Yeah, so
I think they've been dropping hints to us. Yeah, that was really cool. And anything else that you enjoyed about it?
I felt like the revelation of Alexander the Great being the last great pharaoh was so fucking cool.
I just always love seeing Oscar Isaac as Steven like nerding out about Egyptian stuff, where he's just like, oh my gosh, this is the tomb of blah blah blah, and he's like going all into it and everything.
I feel like he is a cipher for us. For
sure. I was gonna say the character
that's how
appeals
I feel.
to both audience that they're trying to get to, like action heroes and nerds.
Yeah. Well, and that's something also that I wanted to point out is like, I've seen Oscar Isaac in plenty of stuff at this point now, but man, is he just absolutely killing it in this show. Yeah. Especially in a lot of the stuff that's been going on, that goes on in episode 5, where they're literally just walking down the hallway together. I completely forgot that it was
the same person.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're talking to each other.
I paused it so well. I paused it at one point when they were in the hallway in the asylum and talking to each other, and I was like, okay, I have not even once thought this is the same person standing in this hallway, because he's so good at differentiating the personalities, and we got a good amount of time with Steven to learn who he is.
And the conflict is so well written.
You want to give us a quick breakdown of what 5 is about?
So 5 essentially is the continuation of the asylum. They find out they keep going back and forth between feeling like it's a real asylum and that he's actually a doctor and all this other shit, and then going to the hippo lady, who we find out is like the fairy person who takes you from where you died to the afterlife.
Yeah.
And they weigh your heart to see if it balances on the scales, and if it balances, you get to go to the reeds,
the field of reeds.
And if it doesn't, then you go into the sand, basically to their version of hell.
And sand is hell.
And so it's this constant battle of trying to get their hearts to balance. And spoiler alert, they don't. And we find out more reasons why as we go through the episode. And just, like I said, the juxtaposition of Steven trying to learn more about Mark through all this process and really see what their childhood was like, and finding out what his real purpose was, and the fact that his personality fractured due to trauma, and him trying to hide himself from the negative aspects of what his parents were doing. Is very harrowing, very true shit.
I found this episode to be very heavy and
fucked up in
very
a lot
fucked
of
up.
ways.
Yeah. Like this is where the show really was like, okay, we're gonna put like all of our emotional punches really into this episode, but it helps you understand Mark and Steven's characters separately so much more too, because you can see how Steven has become kind of this like sheltered, more reserved person who's kind of lived that sheltered life on purpose to help Mark escape from all this stuff, and why Mark is such a hardened, like reserved character, because he was abused. And to see what happened with him and his brother, especially after seeing that the rescue documentary, and then seeing them go into the cave. As soon as they went in the cave, I was like, no, that's what happened with all those little boys. And that stuff was heartbreaking, seeing more of like the origin of how he invented Steven based on like the accents he and his brother used to do, and then the poster movie, on the wall in the movie and
ties
everything.
Into what's happening at the asylum, where he is seeing things and then making a world up around it. So it makes sense why because at one point he does start to believe that Ethan Hawke is a doctor. And so I was like, oh, that's cool that they're kind of tying that in. I thought that was really heavy, and they're almost kind of foils for each other.
The mom was driving me absolutely up a wall, because she was so awful. Like I just could not. I was like, how could you treat your child that way? Like it made
grief.
And it just like that's what really made me go like, holy shit, this guy is fucked up, and I can understand why he has become the way that he is. And then also we get to see the origin of him meeting Khonshu and becoming Moon Knight, and we get to hear him say, "Become my Moon Knight."
And
he said the thing.
Conversely to the movie we just discussed, a ton of fucking character development right here. Just in this one episode. Obviously, very different story, very different format. But I was like, God damn.
And I love how it's all framed around them trying to get, like you said, get the heart to balance. And then basically at the end, once they have that fight on the boat and Steven gets knocked off, then it balances. And so I'm wondering if that means like he was always supposed to come to terms with getting rid of his other personalities. I doubt it means it's the last of Steven we're going to see. And we know there's probably this other personality. It made me wonder, I was like, can he actually get rid of Steven in that way? Because is Steven another soul? Or is he just a part of his... Can he bring him back by just imagining him again? Or like just...
It's tough to say.
It's Marvel, so who knows if like a split personality in this situation is somehow spiritual. It does remind me, though, the hippo at one point, she's talking about all of the different like realms of consciousness that cross over, and she's like, oh, the ancestral plane is gorgeous. That's where Black Panther goes.
I thought that sounded familiar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that it's very poignant. It does a lot of really great things. And obviously, we've talked on the show before that I really enjoy when they do a different thing around dealing with survivor's guilt and how you survive through that, you know, and being able to come to terms with what's happened and be able to grieve and process in your own way. And this way, while it ends up pretty shitty, you know, in regards to the fact that it's now created two lives that now are dealing with, you know, shit repercussions. One of them can't hold a job, can't hold a relationship, you know, those sorts of things. And the other one is a hardened fucking killer. I mean, both of those things kind of suck.
Yeah.
You know, so it is something where it, while it feels like they're still trying to figure out what they want individually and as a unit. And it's something that I think that there needs to be more. I mean, I think that one more episode will help to tie up this storyline with Ethan Hawke's character, I'm sure. But I do feel like this character needs more time.
I'd be shocked if they are intending this to be all there is of Moon Knight after this episode, because to me, yeah, they've definitely introduced way too many threads to all be tied up in that final episode. And yeah, I just loved kind of how, even though it was very harrowing, it's a very sweet thing where you kind of come to realize that Mark has been protecting Steven from the truth of the fact that he's made up and that their mother passed away and all that stuff. But then Steven has also been protecting Mark from all of the abuse. So they kind of have this, because they've been at odds for so many episodes now, that to see that actually at the heart of everything, they're really there to protect each other.
Yeah.
And then that's exemplified when Steven is like, well, I'm going to protect Mark because we're the same person and I can do it. I thought all of that was just like, again, just really awesome performances from Oscar Isaac, and whoever voiced that hippo was pretty fun too.
Why do you guys think that the hearts wouldn't balance when it was the two of them? Because they hadn't reconciled about them being one?
I think so, yeah. I think the fact that they were still considering themselves to be their own individual people and not understanding that they are of one heart, of one mind, just
because
segmented and separated.
Because Steven is traumatized by finding out that he's made up and that his mother has passed away, and so I don't think he's quite come to terms with the idea that he's not a real person. And it's like, it's like that they're not separate people, they are all of a piece, which I think is how they're going to become like the ultimate Moon Knight, is realizing that they are all the same person and can unlock different abilities, whether it's puzzle solving or beating the shit out of a guy or whoever the third. Maybe the other guy is just great in bed. Who knows?
He's great with stabbings.
Yeah.
I guess I was a little bit confused with the ending because we were headed to the gate so that we can get them out of the underworld, right?
Yeah.
But then the heart balance, and because the hippo woman is constantly like, get your heart balance, get your heart balance, get your heart balance. And then it happens, then he goes to the field of reeds. But our goal was to get out.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand that.
So
you know what I mean?
So I think from what it's going to end up being, I think that the last episode will mostly take place around her trying to get the statue and release Khonshu, so that way he can come back.
Khonshu will probably come and meet him in the field of reeds, and they'll have like a little conversation, and he'll be like,
they'll kiss, and
he'll be like, you are now the catcher in the rye. Go catch all that rye.
And he's gonna Neo the bullet out.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I get behind that.
But with his beak, like.
So, yeah, I mean, that was cool. I was hit pretty emotionally that Steven fell off.
Yeah.
I was like, that sucks, man.
Yeah, but
like
you know what they say?
I doubt.
Don't rock the boat, baby.
I doubt they're
going to tip the boat over. Yeah.
I wish they would. I wish that Marvel would just hit us with a punch like that. but they never do.
Yeah.
Who knows? Doctor Strange.
Dr. Stranger.
Which I didn't even remember until very recently. Speaking of things we're going to be talking about in the future, that in the original in the first Spider-Man Raimi movie, there's a Doctor Strange reference because he's like, oh, we'll call him Doctor Strange. And he's like, oh, he's already taken. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
So I'm like, oh, cool. It's all coming full circle.
Oh, damn.
So apparently, did you know that there is an old like 60s or 70s Doctor Strange movie that apparently is now being like re-released onto Blu-ray?
Yeah, I think
yeah,
Shout Factory is re-releasing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
That's not what we're talking about. Though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so-
Courtesy of Ashley the intern, she gave me that little spicy piece of news.
But yeah, I think overall I enjoyed episode 5 more than 4. 4 did have some cool horror elements, like you said, Anthony, but ultimately it was just kind of a Marvel episode.
Yeah.
Them just getting us to where we needed to go and kind of quickly. But I love mental health stuff. I think being institutionalized is one of my fears. It scares the fuck out of me that it could just happen, and then losing your grip on reality and not knowing what actually is real and what's not real is fucking terrifying, dude.
Yeah, it is. It is very scary. I think I just was like, well, I've seen this so many times already that
Right.
it like doesn't pack as much of a punch.
Don't you know? I'm your therapist.
You gotta do some fancy green screen work and so
Tell Dr. Brasher about your problems.
one right here.
I'm his evil split personality.
Yeah, it'd be real
Anthony
evil
and
for you to
Anthony.
be leaner and taller. Damn it! Jafar! Caught you! All right, anything else you want to say about these 2 episodes? Are you guys looking forward to 6?
Yes, I am. I'm looking forward to it, and also sad that it's going to be over after that because I've really enjoyed watching these week to week.
Yeah,
and it's been a really nice surprise from something that, which, like you said, Marvel, a lot of the time it's just the same shit. This has been a really nice surprise, and it's pretty dark, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
so I'm
absolutely.
excited for where they go in the final episode.
Do you think, and we can talk more about it next week just so we're sure, do you think it's weird having something so detached from the MCU?
It's a breath of fresh air, in my opinion. I think that really they shouldn't be afraid to do that now because everything else is so tied up that even with Loki, I almost wish that show had not tried to tie into whatever else is going on in the rest of the multiverse. If it had just been like a TVA thing and kept itself separate, I might have enjoyed it even more than I did. So I like that this is just doing it something, and we get to see another interpretation of like actual mythology turned into the Marvel version, because we've got Norse mythology and now we have the Egyptian mythology, and it's cool to see like all of these gods exist. And
yeah, I think we're getting like medieval stuff too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love when they interpolize the historical elements in these little mini-series style ones, because they're able to dig into a lot more of it further. I mean, I think if this had been a movie,
dig into it like an Egyptologist,
we would have lost out on a lot of the cool lore shit that we get in the background of it. It would have mostly just been focusing on Moon Knight and about getting to a resolution of the story, and less about like doing cool mummy shit, fucking digging around in fucking pyramids and shit. I'm all in for that.
I just want to do hood mummy shit with my friends.
Yeah.
All right, good. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm glad that I don't have to know a million other fucking things to get what's going on in this program. So
what's Captain Marvel doing right now?
I am thinking that they'll probably tie something in at the end, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. Next week, we are starting our month-long dive into the career of Sam Raimi that Anthony was mentioning earlier.
Samuel Power Tools Raimi.
Yes, so in preparation for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we're going to be diving into Sam Raimi a little bit more, and starting next week, we are going to be talking about The Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead.
And for our final cut, we're going to finish up Moon Knight.
Yeah.
So we hope that you tune in, and we hope that you enjoy. I have been Tone.
I've been John.
And I've been Mark. Steven.
Weird,
right
say
now.
weird third other person who's probably a spicy killer.
Yeah, you nailed it. Internet darling Anthony.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. We'll see you next time.
Keep it creepy.
Peace.
exclusive episodes, early access, merch, and to support the show, head over to patreon.com/Porcelain Peak.
Thanks to all our patrons for the support, and special thanks to producers Chuck, Rob, Ashley, and Michael.
You can find Porcelain Peak on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
Wherever you listen, don't forget to rate, review, share, and subscribe so you never miss a thrilling episode.
Special thanks to Roger Jackson for introducing the show, and to Jeff For Real for composing the Porcelain Peak opening and closing song.
All content and episodes are written, produced, designed, and edited by the Porcelain Peak team, consisting of Anthony Perez, John Brasher, and Anthony Silva.
This has been here words for Weirdos Production.